What if the story you thought you knew about Yu Menglong was only half the truth? What if, behind the calm smile and soft-spoken interviews, there was a man preparing for the most beautiful chapter of his life, a wedding that the world was never meant to see? Stay with us till the very end, because this is not just another celebrity headline. This is a haunting love story filled with unspoken promises, hidden letters, and the silence that followed a dream never fulfilled. It began quietly, just months before the world lost him. Friends and close colleagues whispered of a new light in Yu Menglong's eyes, something gentle yet powerful, a quiet joy that radiated from him on set and behind the camera. Those who knew him said he had started humming love songs during breaks, something he rarely did. His assistant mentioned he often checked his phone with a secret smile, his fingers pausing before typing short messages that made his entire expression soften. No one asked questions then, because everyone could tell, Yu Menglong was in love. The identity of the woman remained hidden, but the clues were everywhere for those who dared to look. She was said to be someone who understood him beyond fame and facade, someone who met him not as the rising Cdrama star but as the man who still carried the quiet insecurities of his early days. She wasn't from the spotlight, some sources claimed, but she moved in his circle, someone who had seen him fall and rise again, someone who stood by him through his moments of doubt and triumph. One of the most emotional recollections came from a crew member who worked on his last project. She described a moment when Yu Menglong was sitting alone, rehearsing lines for a scene about farewell and loss. When the camera stopped rolling, he didn't move for a while. His gaze was fixed on the horizon, his lips forming a faint smile before he whispered softly, almost to himself, that love was both his greatest blessing and his biggest fear. The crew member said she had chills hearing those words. Weeks later, rumors began circulating that Yu Menglong had been seen visiting a private event planner in Beijing. The meeting was quiet, discreet, but witnesses confirmed he spent over an hour discussing color themes and music selections. When asked what the event was for, he reportedly smiled and said, "It's something for someone special, something simple but unforgettable." It was then that whispers of a secret wedding began to take shape. Close friends said he had already chosen a date. A day that held deep meaning to both of them, connected to the first time they met on a quiet set under falling rain. He had written her a letter, sealed with words she would only read when the time was right. That letter, many believe, never reached her hands, but it was found later in his belongings, folded with care, its words unread by the public but said to hold the weight of everything he never got to say aloud. In the weeks before his passing, those close to him noticed subtle changes. He became more reflective, more intentional with his words, and often told his friends to cherish those they loved, because time was never guaranteed. One friend recalled how Yu Menglong had said that love was not about how long it lasted, but about how deeply it was felt. There was something final in his tone, as if he knew something no one else did. The world remembers Yu Menglong for his talent, his humility, and his timeless charm, but those who knew him intimately say his heart was his truest masterpiece. The man who brought life to countless Cdrama roles was quietly crafting his own real-life fairy tale, one that fate, cruelly and unexpectedly, chose not to let unfold. After the news of his passing broke, fans began revisiting his interviews, searching for clues, piecing together fragments of his last days. In one particularly emotional clip, he was asked what his biggest dream beyond acting was. He smiled and said, "To live a quiet life with someone who sees me as just Menglong, not the actor." That single sentence has since echoed through fan communities around the world, breaking hearts and reigniting admiration for a man whose sincerity was unmatched. Rumors of who the mysterious bride-to-be was still circulate, though no one has come forward. Some say she visits his favorite park every year on the same date, wearing a white scarf he once gifted her. Others believe she keeps his last message private, choosing silence over spectacle. Whether true or not, what remains undeniable is that Yu Menglong's love story was one written not in the spotlight, but in the quiet corners of devotion and destiny. Fans have since turned his final interviews and photos into a living tribute. Every smile he left behind feels heavier now, every word carries more meaning. His journey, though cut short, continues to inspire millions who find themselves reflecting on love, loss, and the fragile beauty of time. So if you've ever loved someone in silence, if you've ever felt a connection you couldn't explain, Yu Menglong's story might just remind you that love, no matter how brief, never truly fades. It lingers in the echoes of laughter, in letters never sent, in dreams that never got their ending. Stay with his story, remember his truth, and carry his legacy in your heart, because the man who almost had his forever reminds us all that even unfinished love can still be eternal. The story picks up where part 1 left off, and this time, everything feels heavier, quieter, and yet somehow more real. After Yu Menglong's passing, silence seemed to hang over the industry like an unfinished song, one that ended too soon. But hidden among his belongings, something unexpected was found, a box wrapped in dark velvet, the kind used to protect something precious. Inside were old photographs, handwritten notes, and one single envelope that had never been opened. It was addressed to someone whose name had been carefully smudged away, but the letter inside carried Yu Menglong's words, pure and unfiltered. He spoke about wanting peace, about finally understanding what love truly meant. There were sentences that hinted at a future he was building in secret, a future he called the quiet life. In one line, he wrote, "When everything is done, I will walk away from the noise, and she will walk beside me." That she became the center of an emotional storm. Fans speculated endlessly, was it Xing Fei, the co-star who had shared countless emotional scenes with him? Or was it someone entirely outside the spotlight, someone who had quietly captured his heart without fame or recognition? Rumors spread like wildfire, but what made it all more haunting was the discovery of a ring. Not one, but two. His assistant revealed that Yu Menglong had them custom-made just months before everything changed. They were simple, gold, engraved with the words, "Two souls, one silence." People began piecing together his last weeks, trying to find signs in every public appearance, every smile that seemed softer, every quiet moment caught by a passing camera. One close friend, a crew member who had worked with him for years, shared something that left fans speechless. He said that Yu Menglong often talked about stepping away from fame, from the endless circle of pressure and expectation. He wanted a family, a home, a sense of peace. He said love should not be seen by the world to be real, the crew member said, his voice trembling. Soon after, an audio recording surfaced. It was Yu Menglong's voice, calm and reflective, recorded one evening after a long shoot. He spoke about gratitude, about finding something worth fighting for, and about not wanting to lose it to fame. The way he said her name, though faint, carried a warmth that sent shivers through anyone listening. Then came the final revelation, a private message thread found on an old device that belonged to him. The messages were poetic, emotional, and deeply personal. They spoke of plans, of a quiet ceremony by the sea, far from cameras and gossip columns. There was even a mention of the date, one that was just weeks away from when everything came to an end. The internet exploded. Fans cried, others stayed silent, and many began sharing their favorite moments of him, saying that even though his story ended too soon, his love story would live on forever. The person believed to be his partner never came forward. No statement, no denial, no confirmation. Only silence. But that silence said everything. Months later, during a memorial event, a mysterious woman was spotted placing a small white flower beside Yu Menglong's photograph. She stayed only for a few minutes, then quietly disappeared into the crowd. No one knew who she was, but some fans said they saw her wearing a gold ring, one that looked exactly like the pair found in his velvet box. That image spread like wildfire online, becoming a symbol of eternal love and loss. People began saying that Yu Menglong didn't just leave behind his fame or his career, he left behind a story of love that defied time, a love that was quiet yet powerful enough to move millions. And so, the mystery lives on. His songs still play softly in the background of fan-made videos. His smile still lights up screens in old dramas. But beyond all that, his words echo, two souls, one silence. A phrase that now feels like his final message to the world. So as you watch this, remember to hit that subscribe button, because this isn't just the end of Yu Menglong's story. It's the beginning of uncovering what true devotion really means, even in a world full of noise. Stay tuned, because we'll continue to honor the untold stories of those who gave everything for love, for art, and for truth.